Cynthia Monteleone. Get inspired and get focused for sprinting and strength training to pay off.
He said 36 hours before my competition, I should take an ice bath. It has to do, I think, with the circadian rhythms. He said it would boost testosterone if you take an ice bath before competition. But icing after running, absolutely not. 4 to 6 hour window, no icing. 4 to 6 hour window, no stretching, no static stretching. Sauna is fantastic. I'm definitely a fan of sauna and of the occasional ice bath.
The post-exercise ice bath is so-called contraindicated because does it slow down recovery and everything like that?
Yes, your muscle fibers can't intertwine and heal the way they're supposed to because they need that inflammation. So in my experience, I had a little bit of like a hamstring tendonitis when I first started back running. And I used to ice after I ran every day because it was bothering me a little bit. And when I stopped icing, when Charles said, no, don't do that, and I stopped icing, my injury went away. I've been injury-free. Injuries don't keep me from competing at the highest level. I ran faster last year than all the high school girls in the state, which, is fun, but why? Because I'm injury free. And why am I injury free? Again, back to the choices I make. Right. And you can make those choices. Anyone can make those choices, you know? And so my passion is to give that option.
When do you think they could start like sprinting? Or at least...
I would say after 8 weeks, they can start getting on the field and sprinting. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
But, everybody wants the results right away. They want to lose the fat right away. And knowing that it does take a little bit of time, but then that will give you longevity and you'll have that for a longer amount of time. You can kind of think about sprinting the same way. If you start slow and do it properly, it's going to give you a longer value later. And it's going to keep on doing that fat burning and having your BDNF high, so you can keep your brain plastic and learning new things and sharp, staving off Alzheimer's, for instance. And I'm very inspired by where I live in the ancient Hawaiian Kukini, who were messengers for the kings. They were runners, specifically trained to run here in Hawaii.
Interesting.
So I think about them, the ancient Hawaiians and how they dialed in that running, and I kind of try to take inspiration from that. I run 3 times a week, and I'm done within an hour, really less than that. And then I strength train 4 times a week, and again, less than an hour, because if you're in the gym longer than an hour, Charles used to say, you're making friends, not progress. I get that job done because I'm focused on what I'm doing. I have all my time under tension and tempo laid out. Again, with the strength training, I think that if you're older, maybe you think, I can't lift heavy weights. Well, if you do tempo training, which is focusing on lowering in the eccentric portion slowly, so if you're squatting, maybe you go down in 4 seconds. You don't just go down, back up, and bounce with heavy weight. You're using less weight, you're recruiting more muscle fibers, and you're less likely to get injured. I don't do them back to back. I make sure I have time in between. Again, 4 to 6 hours is ideal. So I'll run in the morning, and on the same day, I'll strength train. And then I take the whole next day off.
Oh,
so
cool.
Recovery is just as important. Think about healing my body on recovery days. So that's 3 days of the week I'm training, and maybe a 4th morning for the strength training.
Her mentor, Charles Poliquin, said this about competition. 36 hours before, use icing to build testosterone. However, for 4 to 6 hours afterward, no icing nor stretching. But sauna is okay. The reason? Icing and stretching block the muscle fiber healing process. For beginners, when to start sprinting? After about 8 weeks of preparation. It takes time, but leads to longevity, continuous fat burning, and keeping the BDNF high. Cynthia has been inspired by Kukini. These were trained, skilled runners as messengers for the kings in ancient Hawaii. Cynthia runs 3 times a week, less than an hour. Does weightlifting 4 times a week for about an hour. The reason she can do this so efficiently is her focus. She plans out her time under tension and tempo. Older people might consider tempo strength training, which is slower in lowering of weights, using lighter weights. This engages more muscle fibers and is less likely to get you injured. Cynthia's training days: run in the morning, Take a 4 to 6 hour break. Strength training in the evening. The next day is for recovery.